Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to everyone who watched this video in the morning, and good evening to everyone who watched this video in the evening. I always hope and pray to you guys, especially who watch this video, are doing well and in a good condition as always. Today, I'm gonna make a video about my philosophy, where the code of the subject is EDFS 1001. Was associated by Dr. Azam bin Osman. So, before I started my task about my philosophy, let me tell you a little bit about my background. Firstly, my name is Muhammad Amirul Hakim bin Azizi, whereas my metric number is 2213835. For your information, I am the first year student which is majoring in teaching Arabic as a second language in Kuliah of Education at IIUM Gombak. One of the reason I made decision to proceed my study in Arabic is because of my parent advice, whereas my mom is an Arabic teacher at primary school. My mom also the one who is influenced me to love Arabic language. So from that, I started inspired my mom as my motivation to me to be a great educator and teacher like her in Arabic course, which is I really hope with this profession I can grow and develop young generation to be more better beside to spread a knowledge and da'wah at the same time to become a good servant to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So let's proceed to the next part. First and foremost, I wish to share my perspective on epistemology and ontology in education. Beyond what Hoffer and Pintrich stated, epistemology is a branch of philosophy concerned with the nature and justification of knowledge, which is the first one is we must determine the nature of knowledge and we must extend of human knowledge. In my opinion about epistemology, when we try to figure out what knowledge is, absolutely we can encounter some interesting question and critical thinking question. For example, if a teacher using the epistemology concept in their teaching session, I surely they can answer and create many questions about their teaching topic with a critical thinking question. Additionally, this concept has changed the way I think, where not all of the knowledge we can consider it as a true. So, in this, they have some key ideas or criteria to consider it as a knowledge, as done by the philosophers to ensure that the information received is true and not fake, with the evidence or a process that has been passed. So I truly hope that with this philosophy thought, I can develop more and more students to become educated and intelligent in the future, while also opening and expanding their thinking in learning or teaching session. And then I hope I also to become a noble teacher with a great and with a great critical thinking in a future. And then the next part is ontology. Ontology is the branch of metaphysics, philosophy concerning the overall nature of what things are. It's concerned with the identifying, in the most general terms, the kinds of things that actually exist, which is its explore of existence and examine the nature of the reality. In other words, addressing the question, what is the existence and what is the nature of existence? For example that I can give about ontology is the surface of an apple cannot exist without the apple. So from the definition, we can say that ontology is about what is true and more into reality. My belief on education. As a future educator, I strongly believe that the purpose of education is to produce a generation and students who are highly intellectual and of high quality in education to become a moral and ethical person, as well as creating an atmosphere of a professional and educated community. It is related to educational vision, which is emphasized the quality of knowledge from each learner, educating people to become more manageable and more able to ensuring our country as a peaceful country. And then the next part is the philosophical thought close to me. There are various philosophical school of thought exist in educational sector. However, I will highlight idealism, which is considered as the closest philosophy view to me. The aim of idealism in education is to discover and develop each individual's abilities and full moral excellence in order to better serve society. The word idealism is derived from two distinct sources, which is the idea and the ideal. Idea means true and certified knowledge. The words ideal stands for the perfected form of an idea or ideas. If we study the basic principles, idealism puts forth the argument that reality as we perceive it is a mental construct. It means the experience are the result of sensory abilities of the human mind and not because reality exists in itself as an independent entity. In the philosophical terms, this means that one cannot perceive the existence of things beyond the realism of the intellect. Plato also describes the reality in his theory of forms. For him, the form is actual substance of things which form matter and perceptible reality. Plato wants to convey the message that matter is real and can be experienced as a rational living entity. It is not a mere projection of consciousness. On the other hand, idealist educational goal is to transformation through ideas that change life because through the ideas that was being perceived, it was translated into a language and then it was being put into an action. So the idea was not forever be an idea, but instead it will be put into action so that it can useful to the community. For instance, the cell phone and the computer and the other things that we have right now is the product of the ideas. It come from the ideas first and then become to a reality. So in the future, I will surely use idealism as my philosophy thought as my teaching method in the future, which is encourages the student to share their own ideas and the education aim develop and apply practical knowledge and skill for life in a progressive democratic society. Beside that is individual growth through processes, experience and problem solving. So the next part is my experience and relation to national philosophy. During the historical class with Dr. Azam, my group is required to present on this topic. So I would like to share some information about this topic. The first one is NEP, or also known as New Economic Policy, had a significant impact on the education sector in 1970. The goal of this project is to eliminate poverty and reduce racial disparities. All of these factors have a significant impact on the education sector. The committee cabinet made a drastic change in which KBSR and KBSM were introduced, which is giving learners the opportunity to make decisions about where they can boost their potential and confidence depends on what they're willing to do. Besides that, they can choose the subject and drop the subject which whereas they like they're interested with the subject or do not interested with the subject. So they can make their own decision. So we can see that the quality of education in our country will increase because it accurate with the philosophy education in Malaysia is an ongoing effort to develop individuals' potentials in a holistic and integrated manner with the goal of producing individuals who are intellectually spiritually, emotionally, and physically balanced and harmonious, with a firm belief in devotion to God. This effort is intended to produce Malaysia citizens who are knowledgeable and competent, have a high moral standards, and are responsible and capable of achieving a high level of personal well-being, while also contributing to the harmony and betterment of the family, society, and country. So the next part is my reflection as a student in during the secondary school. What I can reflect is I can boost my self-esteem, which is the way my teacher taught their student how to socialize and interact with the strangers outside there. Maybe for the others it looks like small things, but for me it can give a huge impact in my daily life. And then the second one is the purpose of my life is clearer before this. Means they just not taught me about the syllabus only in their class, but they taught how to think out of the box and give some things that can give an experience to me. So when we live in the real world outside there, we can survive with our own. So I jump to the conclusion, which is the conclusion. What I can say is philosophy is important in education system. So with the philosophy taught close to me, I can improve my internal and I will apply it in my learning process. As long I will be a educator in the future. So I will apply all of the philosophical thought that I can use in my teaching session in the future. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.